All right, hello mathematicians. This is page 1-6, which you should have hopefully received in the mail. Where I'm going to go through and I'm going to solve it. My hope is that you attempted this practice before watching this video, or you did what you could and you're coming here to either check answers or to get some support. So this is from Unit 1, and this is adding and subtracting fractions with like denominators, and then what to do in order to put them into their final form. So for number 1, I wrote an equal sign because I know that I have to solve it. It turns from an expression into an equation when you add an equal sign. So in order to add fractions with common denominators, you add the numerator, so 5 plus 2 is 7, and the denominator stays the same. So I have 7/6. 7/6 is an improper fraction. That means it's greater than 1. So I'm going to see what it turns into as a mixed number. In order to do that, I'm going to see how many wholes I have. In order to do that, I look at the denominator and I see how many times it can fit into the numerator. So 6 can go into 7 one time, and then how many sixth parts do I have left over? Well, the difference between 6 and 7 is 1, and that's 1/6 that's left. So 5/6 plus 2/6 equals 7/6, which then in its final form equals 1 and 1/6. We'll continue going horizontal. 3/2. This is already an improper fraction, but we're not going to do anything with it yet because we need it as this in order to add. 3 plus 5 is 8. 2 plus 2, wait, no, it's the denominator, so it stays the same. So now we have 8/2. Here we have more than one, so we have more than one whole, so we have to figure out what it would be as a mixed number. Another way you can do this is say, okay, 8 divided by 2. How many times can 2 go into 8? 2, 4, 6, 8. 4 times. So that equals 4. Therefore, 3/2 plus 5/2 equals 4. Looking at number 3, number 3 says 3 5/8 plus 1 2/8. Now, because these have the same denominators, that means that they're cut into the same sized parts. So we can add these with their whole numbers and their fractions. So I'm going to put an equal sign to change it from an expression to an equation. 3 plus 1 is 4. And now I'm going to add my parts. We're staying with eighths. So we have 5 plus 2, which is 7/8. So 4 and 7/8. If you were to do this by changing them into their own fraction, you would go around the fraction. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 5 is 29, so 29/8, plus 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 is 10, 10/8, which then equals 39/8. We put 39 as the dividend under the house. 8 as the divisor. 8 can't go into 3, but 8 can go into 39. Let's get down by 8s. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. Oh, it can go in 4 times, which gets us to 32. And then we subtract. When we subtract, we get 7. And we can then put our remainder and our divisor as a fraction, so 4 and 7/8. So you see, we get the same answer. That's how you know we did it right. Moving on, look at number 4, 2 2/5 plus 3 4/5. 2 plus 3 is 5. We know that we're dealing with fifths. 2 plus 4 is 6. It looks like I have 5 6/5. But when you look at this, you should say, oh, improper fraction. 5 can go into 6 one time, so that's an extra whole, and you have 1/5 left over. So once you put these two answers together, your full answer should be 6 and 1/5. All 4 of those have been addition, so let's look into subtraction. Here, our parts are fourths. They're the same parts. We have the same denominator, so we don't have to worry about getting a common denominator. We can take our fractional part from our fractional part, so 3/4 minus 1/4. We're still going to have our whole number 2. 3/4 minus 1/4 is 2/4. If you were putting this into final form, this 2/4 of a fraction can be reduced because both the numerator and the denominator can be divided by 2. So your answer would be 2 and 1/2. So 2 3/4 minus 1/4 equals 2 1/2. Let's do one more. 5 7/9 minus 2 2/9. Let's do our whole number. 5 minus 2 equals 3. 7 minus 2 equals 5/9. Let's check our work by going around the fraction. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 7 would be 52/9, minus around the fraction. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 2 is 20/9. 52 minus 20, if you can do that in your head, that's great. If you can't, that's also okay. You can set up 52 minus 20, and when you subtract, you should see that you get 32. So then we have 32/9. When we convert this, 32 becomes your dividend, 9 becomes your divisor. 9 can go into 32. 9, 18, 27. So it goes in 3 times, and we get 27. When we subtract, we get 5. So 3 and 5/9. So we know we did our subtraction correct. Let's look down here at our word problems. I'm going to show how to solve word problems using cubes. Cubes means circle the numbers, underline the question, box keywords, write your equation, and then solve. So Theo bought a sub sandwich 12 inches long. He cut off a piece 2 3/4 inches long and gave it to his sister. How long is Theo's sandwich now? I'm going to box the word long in box inches because that's going to be my label. That's what we're solving for. I'm going to write inches on the line so that I don't forget to label my answer. So the original length of the sub was 12 inches. He cut off 2 3/4. So 12 minus 2 3/4. Fourths are easier to think about if you think about them in terms of quarters. Some of you might be able to see this math in your head, others of you will not, but it's always good to show your work. A way that you can get a fraction here, so you're not as confused, like, how do I take 2 3/4 away from 12? You can always ungroup from the fraction. So here we have 12, but what you could also write is we have 11 4/4, because 4/4 is equal to 1 whole. 1 whole plus 11 is 12. So 11 4/4 minus 2 3/4, which gives us, subtract your whole numbers first, 11 minus 2 is 9. 4/4 minus 3/4 is 1/4. Then you're going to write your answer on the line, 9 1/4 inches. I already have my label, so I don't have to worry about doing it. You can use cubes for numbers 17 and 18 in order to help you solve it.